What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Have More Than Money. In today's video, Jared and I are going to be discussing how we go about finding high-ticket United States suppliers to dropship to our Shopify stores. And so for those of you who maybe missed our past videos about high-ticket dropshipping and what it is exactly that we do, we pretty much look for United States brands that sell products that are at least $500 in value. Usually our sweet spot is right around $2,000 and above. So Jared, if you kind of want to give a little intro about just some of the suppliers that we deal with and the benefits of finding United States suppliers compared to
Aliexpress drop shipping is what you're saying?
There it is.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, when you're dealing with USA suppliers, you're building a legitimate business. You're actually creating real relationships in the sense where you're not just taking their product off of a website and selling it. You're actually calling them and looking to get approved as an authorized dealer. So, how it would work is you would pretty much find them whether on Google or Wayfair.com and essentially look to make sure that the price point is high enough. So like Mike said, anything above $1,000 to $2,000 would be, perfectly fine. And then the only other indicator would be to see, if there's how much competition there is on Google. So at that point, if it, checks the boxes, then it's very simple. You give them a call, say you'd like to sell their products, and if they approve you, awesome, you're in. Now you can start listing them on your store and start ultimately running ads and making sales. Then one huge benefit is, one, you're dealing with high ticket products. So you're getting, big margins, on a $2,000 item, you're typically going to make around $400 profit. Two, you're getting fast shipping times, so you're not getting, 3-week, 4-week shipping times on a $30 item that's almost guaranteed to result in a chargeback. You're getting, 1 to 2 week shipping times on a $2,000 item with automatic signature for delivery. So even if they do file a chargeback, your chances of winning are much higher than on a cheaper product, because on cheap products there's no signature for delivery, so there's no way to prove the customer has the item.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because I was reading something earlier today, and it was this guy, I think he was an Amazon seller, and he was pretty much just trying to just shit on Shopify dropshipping, and his main points were, it was almost like an Instagram ad, and his main points were crappy Chinese products, small product margins, and long shipping times. And I read the ad, and it was pretty much, the title was like, why dropshipping never works. And I didn't obviously pay any attention to it, just because none of those things apply to when you're closing these United States manufacturers. Like I said, just doesn't really correlation to our business model.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that, a lot of people, when they think of drop shipping, they only think of Aliexpress and Facebook ads. And, 90% of the people in the drop shipping space don't even know that what me and Mike do exists, So it's like, the thing is, think about it like this. If you are drop shipping, whether it's high ticket or low ticket, it's like, you were smart enough to not go the school route, but then it's like you're still one step behind, because even though, you're making a decision to not let a 9-to-5 or a job be your only source of income, the thing is that the strategy you're using is still flawed if you're using the AliExpress and Facebook ads method. And that's why a lot of these people, these gurus in other industries, they have bad things to say about drop shipping, and that's because they don't even know of the method that me and Mike are using. The business model that me and Mike use, the way that we drop ship, I personally haven't found a business model online better than that one. But the AliExpress Facebook ads way, it's honestly probably one of the worst business models I've ever found.
Yeah, I know, when I talk to people who've never heard of high ticket dropshipping, finding suppliers and brands just sounds so intimidating. And I definitely understand where they come from. I felt the same way when I was building my first store. I was like, oh my God, I'm talking to, you're literally calling, American offices. Think of like an actual office space. You're calling into a secretary. It does sound a little intimidating, but, it really is, at the end of the day, it comes down to expressing confidence. And, these suppliers can hear the confidence in your voice. Closing suppliers is something that we talk about inside the More Than Money community. This video is going to be strictly for how we find them. And so I know Jared kind of touched upon Wayfair, Home Depot, Build.com. These huge retailers are all 90% dropship. So yes, they hold a little bit of inventory, but for the most part, like I said, they're mostly for the most part dropshipping. So you can literally go onto these big websites, find suppliers, and then call them. It's a crazy concept. Obviously there is a step before that, and that is, building an actual LLC in business. But like I said, that's pretty much the best place that we like to start.
Yeah, and I mean, it is really that simple, guys. If you join our program, we teach you how to build a site quickly and simply, and then it's really, going on Wayfair, going on Google, finding these suppliers, going to their website, and then calling them. And having to close suppliers is actually a recipe for a successful business. And here's why: is that for a business to ultimately be sustainable, you need there to be a barrier to entry, a level to entry, right? So what a barrier to entry is it's something that stops everyone from doing it, right? So with Aliexpress dropshipping, anyone can just take a product, list it, put it on their site, and drop it and just start selling it. But when you have to actually close the suppliers, legally get approved, then not anyone can do it. Because here's the thing: if you land a good deal with a supplier and you sell all of their stuff out of stock, they're going to start telling other people no, because they can't meet the demands of their current dealers, and ultimately will lead to no competition for you. Like for some of the suppliers I work with, they're not even taking on new dealers anymore because we sell their stuff so quickly that they can't have anyone else selling their stuff. So it's like the barrier to entry is a key indicator that the business model you're doing has a good chance of success. And that's not even from me. That's actually from Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. He talks about that, how if you want a business that can lead to real success, it needs to have a barrier to entry.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the barrier of entry is just one thing that kind of will prevent this space from getting saturated. Saturation isn't something that me and Jared really ever concern ourselves with. Like we spoke about in a previous video, we're all about abundance. And so it's really awesome that any Joe Schmo on the street can't just come across our site and call a supplier and close them. But it is a nice peace of mind to know that there is a certain level of barrier of entry. And so I guess let's just pivot a little bit to another reason why we just absolutely love speaking with and building real relationships with these United States suppliers. Like I said, I talk to some of my supplier reps every single day. I talk to them more than some of my friends. And so it's honestly kind of crazy how, I actually spoke to one of my supplier reps on a Saturday afternoon. He started telling me about his day. Like, I find it awesome, that you can build real, genuine relationships with these people.
Yeah, and it's honestly not even just that, but like they're beneficial relationships. Like for instance, I called a supplier once, and me and the guy got along really well, and then he told me to come to an expo, and I went to the expo and ended up meeting so many different suppliers in the industry. Or another example was one of the suppliers that I called with, he liked me more than he liked his other retailers, and ultimately let us sell a product that he wasn't letting anyone else sell, and we profited like an extra 10 grand that summer because of that. And he actually did something for us last week. He literally let me know that a product was in stock before any of our other competitors, and we actually sold pretty much the whole inventory before it even got in stock. And it was a huge success. And then there was another example I could think of where one supplier, me and him had a really good relationship, and they were a really big company, and I was having issues with PayPal, and he actually gave me someone higher up in the PayPal office to speak with, so I didn't have to go through normal customer service. So ultimately this is really the ultimate networking. I mean, you're building real relationships with real companies, real partnerships. You can speak with them almost anytime. A lot of them, I have their cell phone. You get to speak with CEOs of $40-50 million companies sometimes, and I'll tell you guys, like when you're talking to such high level people, I mean, it really just does wonders for you. And one thing I want to touch on that Mike mentioned was the abundance that we think. And guys, I want you to just realize, for every new dropshipping store that comes out, there's new inventions being made, and for every new invention, ultimately they need retailers to sell the products. So always think the abundance. Focus on being the best, because in the end of the day, as long as you focus on creating the best, then you will attract customers. It doesn't matter how much competition you have. I mean, like Mike mentioned, we never ever give thought to our competition, and that is what led us to doing over $1 million in sales in a month.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's something not everyone, it's not an easy concept to grasp, abundance. So many people will hear that word and be like, oh, like you hippie. I've had people say that to me before. And I'm like, listen, there's two ways to think. You can think abundance, or you can think just small-minded and poor. And at the end of the day, abundance will always take you further in life.
Yeah.
So
I think it was like something I read an article. It said that if you made $100,000 every day since Jesus died, you still wouldn't have as much money as Jeff Bezos. And I mean, if that doesn't just speak abundance, I don't know what will.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And so let's talk a little bit about what we look for in suppliers. So we said that our main way of finding suppliers is Wayfair, Home Depot. Sourcing through these ginormous catalogs and finding suppliers that we think would sell. Also, Jared, what do we look for in suppliers that make us think, we want to sell these guys?
Yeah. So a quick disclaimer, despite what we look for, even if it does, pass all the check boxes, that still doesn't mean the product's going to sell. In the end of the day, what me and Mike always recommend is trial and error. As many suppliers as you can call, launch, the better likely you make money.
Law of averages.
The law of averages, exactly. Like I always tell people, if you can build a website that has 30 suppliers running ads, then you'll be a millionaire, And obviously, I'm not guaranteeing you'll be a millionaire, but if you have 30 suppliers running ads on your website, then chances are you're doing pretty well. What we look for pretty much is very simple. So being that, we've tried every single indicator, how many times it's getting searched a month, competition, everything. And like we said, it still doesn't guarantee if a product's going to sell. So at this point, we keep it really simple. We look to see if the product is over $1,000 and or 2,000. We look to see that the price is good. If it's 500 or less, then we're not going to be interested in selling it. So that's the first thing we look for, is simply the price. Do they have products over $1,000? If yes, then we check the box. The second thing is we then take that brand, we take that product and Google it, and we see how many retailers are selling it. So sometimes you'll Google a brand and you'll see 25 plus, even 50 plus retailers selling it. If you see that, it's not even worth your time. Don't even call them, because you're never going to get to the top of Google with that much competition. So that's the two things we look for, are price and competition. The third thing, which we don't always look for because you can't always tell, is map. And what map, pretty much the only way you'd be able to tell before you actually speak to someone would be if everyone has the ad listed at the same price. So if you see everyone listed the product at $9.99, then yeah, they most likely have a map. But I will say that even if you don't see that, that doesn't mean they don't have a map. So personally, I mean, we really don't give too much thought into it. But if you see all the products listed at the same price, then that's typically a good sign.
Yeah, and just so for people who don't know what MAP is, it stands for minimum advertising price. And so what this is, it's essentially like an MSRP. Well, actually, MSRP is manufacturer suggested retail price. And so suggested is much different than a MAP, because MAP is a brand / supplier. It enforces it. So this is the lowest that anyone is allowed to sell this product for. And so obviously what this does is it avoids getting into a situation where retailers are just constantly undercutting each other until there's no margin left. Yeah. And so like Jared said, we have had success, and we continue to have some success today with suppliers who don't enforce this MAP. However, we have gotten into situations where, we started off with a supplier with no MAP. We started selling them a lot. And then exactly like I said before, what happens, and, one retailer goes $100 under, then you have to go and you have to keep undercutting until the entire wholesale discount is gone.
Exactly.
And then you have to cut.
And next thing you know, you're making $3,000 sales and profiting $100. You want to profit 20%. So, if you can't profit at least 20%, then it's almost not going to be worth your time unless you're selling, really expensive stuff. So it's like the last thing you want to do is make a $3,000 sale and profit less than $600. When me and Mike make a $4,000 sale or a $5,000 sale, we're typically profiting $800 to $1,000.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, obviously one of the things that Jared mentioned was those high ticket items. I mean, the name of this business model is high ticket dropshipping. And so, we'll tell our students $500 at least, But if a supplier's catalog is made up of all products $500, I'm probably not going to even bother calling them, just because, like I said, at the end of the day, it's about the margins. I love expensive products. We've sold things. We've sold one product worth $30,000. You could buy a brand new car. You could put a down payment on a house for that price.
Yeah.
And like Jared said, the retailers. And so, if a brand has 25 other online retailers like ourselves trying to sell their product, you're going to have to pay a lot of money in your Google ads to rank at the top. So that's what also is really awesome about selling these USA brands, is because, when it comes to Aliexpress, you are creating your own brand. That's cool. Building a brand that's honestly, it's a cool thing to do. It's a little bit slower of a process. Whereas when you have USA established brands and suppliers that people are searching for in Google, I mean, the traffic is just 1,000 times warmer compared to Facebook. And so, that's why I could give a random person walking on the street our $1 million suppliers, and it's not like we said before, it's not like they can just call, sell them, and sell their products. Google ads is the second half of having a good supplier, which is something we'll talk about in a later video.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand, the phases of marketing. It's, if you're building a brand, then you need to first make that brand well known. You need people to know about you, know who you are. And so when you do our method, instead of trying to build something and make it well known, you're taking something that's already well known and just coming at the top of Google. So, you guys can think of brands, let's just say one of the biggest brands in America right now, Nike. You can only imagine how many people are Google searching Nike right now. So it's like, on a smaller scale, we take brands that are well known and that are getting a lot of Google searches, and we rank at the top and we make a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, it may not be as easy as it sounds, but it's honestly pretty close to that easy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not when you don't have the right, mentorship, when you don't have the right guidance, but, when you work with us, and we're going to tell you what to do at every step of the way. We're going to make sure it's done right. You just got to do it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I guess another pro that I definitely want to talk about is when it comes to these suppliers, that suppliers very rarely just go out of business out of thin air. Like, yes, there are going to be times where brands and suppliers can't keep the cash flow and they go out of business. But for the most part, unlike, sourcing viral Aliexpress products, once you have a winning supplier, you'll be able to keep them for the entire lifetime of your store. And that's why we say that a high ticket dropshipping store is, a valuable asset that one day you can sell for, 20 to 25 times the monthly profit.
Yeah.
So, that's just another pro. And I guess a mindset, like a way to think about it is, or at least how me and Jared think about it, is every supplier that shows to be profitable in a month, we look at as a source of income.
Yeah.
And so obviously, we're always preaching about having multiple sources of income. Well, your suppliers, your high ticket suppliers in your store are just that, a source of income. So, we have one store where one brand will do majority of the revenue for a month. And so, that's one way to do it. And then we have another store where we have 10 brands that each bring in a little bit, but they combine for $300,000-$400,000 in revenue.
Yeah, I love how you mentioned that, because it's so true. Like, it's almost like each supplier really is its own source of income, and I would even go as far as to almost say it's almost like each supplier is their own store. I mean, because the thing is, they have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Zero correlation at all. And I know Mike mentioned, suppliers going out of business. Guys, there's only one thing that makes a company go out of business, and that's lack of cash flow. And if a supplier goes out of business, which I've seen happen, typically it won't matter because you won't sell their products. Any supplier that you're selling is never going out of business. But, if you have a supplier that has not made you a single sale, then I mean, obviously, like, when you follow our methods, it's like, if you can't make sales doing this method, then, their brand probably just isn't making sales in general, and they probably will be out of business eventually. But yeah, guys, once you find something that's actually working, you don't have to worry about losing it. This isn't a store that you build that will make you $100K one month and then $0 the next. You're going to slowly build it up until it's, Home Depot, Walmart size, where you don't even have to worry about making sales. Obviously, it's not going to get to that size. I mean, it could, but in the end of the day, like, we've built stores that now we don't have to worry if it's going to make sales anymore. It's like, I remember my mom once was like, she asked me, she was like, Jared, did you make any sales today? And she's a teacher, and I was like, did you have any students today? Like, and I didn't mean to be rude to her, but the point was that, I was like, Mom, like, I've been doing online business for 5 years. If I go a single day without sales, then we would have huge problems, and that's what you build it to. You don't have to worry about building it and losing it. You start off where you make a sale, and then you never go another week without making a sale, and then you never go, another few days without making a sale. Next thing you know, you never go a day without making a sale. And then when you get to the point, we're at, we pretty much never even go a single hour without making a sale. And that really is true. But right now, one of our stores averages 40 sales per day. That's more than 1 sale per hour. That's almost 2 sales every single hour. So, you don't have to worry about building something that isn't going to last forever, because honestly, these businesses should last ultimately forever, or if not forever, by the time you were done with it, you would have gotten so much money that you're still set for life.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. It's actually one of those speeches that almost made me tear up a little bit.
we gotta start counting how many tears.
honestly, yeah. I mean, I think we covered a lot of what I wanted to talk about. I know, Jared, you did mention how pretty much what we're doing is we're building mini Wayfarers and Home Depots, and Jared and I have joked about, but in a more serious than a normal joke kind of way, eventually getting to a point with 1 or 2 of our stores where we have such successful suppliers. We've actually talked about going to finding a venture capitalist to invest in us, so we
billions.
Can take it to the next level.
Yeah.
After where we're at right now, we have 1 store which pretty much I don't think can get any more successful in terms of drop shipping.
Yeah, and I want to actually address something that might be going through the viewer's mind, and that is, and I've had people ask me this, oh, well, if you're making so much money doing it, why would you share the information? Why not keep it to yourself? Guys, 1, as we mentioned in the beginning of this video, abundance. 2, there are so many suppliers out there. Me and Mikey only work with around 100 suppliers between all of our stores, and there's hundreds of thousands out there. It's like, you don't need to work with that many to start making serious money. And the truth is, there's way too many out there for the 2 of us to ever get to. It's like, by the time you have 5 to 10 successful relationships, you'll be making so much money that you almost can't even close new relationships. So for us, we realized we're not going to be able to close every supplier in the world. Why not make money selling this unbelievable information? For the price that we're giving, it's made us hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's just a win-win for everyone. It's a win for the customer, it's a win for the client. Everyone that does business with us, everything has to be win-win. A lot of people focus on win-lose. Oh, one person wins the deal, the other one loses. We do not think like that. We think abundantly at all times. And every deal that we do, we think of win-win, not win-lose.
Yeah, and I love that you said the win-win part, because it really, that goes a long way with selling these USA products. Before we started high-ticket dropshipping, like we've said before, we were doing the low-ticket Aliexpress thing. And I honestly at times felt bad about myself that I was selling such crap products to people.
Yeah.
Like,
it was really a win-lose.
That is the definition of a win-lose. And because it was a win-lose, it made it feel like a lose-lose. Like, I didn't even feel like I was winning. 1, because I wasn't winning, because Facebook was eating all of our money and we weren't profitable. 2, the customers were getting absolute crap products. And 3, we weren't profitable. So It was a lose-lose, actually, no matter what.
And guys like us, we believe in karma. And the fact is, it's like, when it's a win-lose business, it's not going to go to $1 million a month. And the moment we shifted from a win-lose business to a win-win business was when we started actually finding success.
Yep. No, exactly. I mean, I've had some honestly really deep and all jokes aside, actual heartfelt conversations with customers where they told me that I had this one guy tell me about a month or 2 ago that I sold him a workout machine, and he told me that his wife actually got very serious neck surgery like a month before, and she was doing mandatory physical therapy. And then pretty much around that time, coronavirus hit, and she wasn't able to do her therapy. And she said that the machine that I sold her literally could have saved her life. Like, wow. It was impacting her in ways that I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
And, hearing something like that, obviously I don't hear something like that every single day. It was a pretty special case. But, it hits home.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure.
And I mean, it just goes to show that, selling products that are real needs, one, it's easier to sell. It's not hard to convince people to buy something that they physically need. Two, it's like, you can get them to pay more. And three, you're actually changing their life. And, like we said, we believe in karma. We really do. And ultimately, by, following the laws of karma, it's led to our success. And, our businesses have actually started to do better once we start sharing the information with the public. And how do you explain that? Abundance. Honestly, it's the only way. The more you feel abundant, as the Science Getting Rich says, the closer you are to the source of wealth, the more wealth you receive. And the more abundance that you give off to the universe. Like, think about like you and your body as just a source of energy, right? Like, all you are is just a center, and it's like, what are you giving out? What is your source of energy, your center, giving out to the universe? So it's like, if you're someone that's just a source of abundance and giving abundance, then guess what? You're going to attract abundance.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, you get what you give. You give hate out into the world, you're going to get hate into your life. You give valuable knowledge and you give money out to the world. I mean, we actually believe that it comes back tenfold.
Yeah.
Another thing that we believe is that the universe is always evolving, like I think we've said before, to better the whole. And so if you can contribute to bettering society as a whole, you will be rewarded. And that, like I said, that's something that we genuinely believe in. And that's why, we get genuine enjoyment out of helping our students and seeing them actually succeed in this business model.
Yeah.
Because, this business model has changed our life. It's the reason that we're financially free. It's the reason we'll never have to work a job again. And so, I mean, seeing what it did for us has now just motivated us to do the same for others.
Yeah. And I guess one last note, because obviously this video was supposed to be just about high ticket suppliers, and turned a little bit into a pep talk. But, one last note as to why, you should never fear competition is that you need to understand that all money is a byproduct of excellence. Money is a byproduct of excellence. What does that mean? It means that your competition doesn't matter. Your line of work doesn't matter. What matters is being great at whatever it is you do. Whatever line of work that you choose, as long as you are the greatest at it, then you will be paid well. If you're any business model, anything, all you have to do is be great and you will get paid. And that is why we're not worried about competition, because we know that regardless of our competition, we are going to be great.
Yep. And I guess I'll leave you with a quote. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better.
Yeah.
Be better at everything. If you guys want to learn more about finding suppliers and putting together your own high ticket dropshipping store, you want to get mentored by us, check out our program at havemorethanmoney.com. We'll drop the link below. Obviously, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about the program. Jared, is there anything you else want to add?
Nope, just check us out.
Yep. So you guys have a great rest of your day. If you like the video, swing us a like, subscribe. You want to see us talk about something else in the high ticket business model, drop a comment and we'll get to it. See you guys in the next video.